As the Canadian economy begins to reopen, the momentum in the real estate market has continued on through this month. Some real estate markets are seeing almost full recoveries, while others have even outpaced their June 2019 sales numbers. One city in particular sold more homes last month than they've ever sold in one single month. So why is it with all these dire predictions of the Canadian real estate crash and prices continuing to drop through all of next year, are buyers coming out in droves to buy houses right now? I'm going to go through a bunch of Canadian real estate markets, break down their sales data, plus take a quick look at what's going to happen in fall of 2020. This is your July 2020 Canadian real estate market update. Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Matthew Pfeiffer, otherwise known as your favorite bald real estate agent from Regina, Saskatchewan. If you like keeping up to date on the Canadian real estate market, which I'm guessing you do because you did click on this video, go ahead, hit the subscribe button so you'll never miss another one of my market updates again. Or if you just want more general knowledge and education about the real estate market, I do tons of those videos. Again, if you subscribe, you'll get all of those videos right when they come out. You'll never miss another one. The other day though, I was walking down the street and a friend of mine said to me, "Hey, did you get a haircut?" I said to him, "No, I got them all cut." Real estate sales came to a screeching halt in Canada in March and April. And yet with May and June behind us, we're now seeing a massive surge of buying activity across Canadian real estate cities. And I wasn't kidding my intro. One city in Canada set a record for the most homes they've ever sold in one single month. I bet you can't even guess this one, but put your guesses below. What Canadian city just set a record for the most home sales in a single month? The answer is probably going to shock you. Now, why is it though, with all these predictions, that buyers are coming out in such large numbers, showing significant confidence in the market with all the predictions, these dire predictions, that real estate prices are going to crash in the next 12 to 18 months. So we're not going to see a price recovery till 2022, and yet buyers are buying in huge numbers right now. This seems to not make a lot of sense. So what I want to go through my market in Regina, Saskatchewan, and then go out to the rest of the country, go through the sales data, and see if we can figure out what's going on in the Canadian real estate market right now. In Regina, for 5 consecutive months, the home price index has increased month to month. In June 2020, we sold more homes in Regina than we ever have in any single month ever. Hold up, that cannot be right. There's no way. I gotta check the script here. I gotta read my notes. Okay, June 2020, 375 homes were sold. June 2007, which was the next best month, 349 homes were sold. That was in the middle of the oil boom in Regina. And the home price index, which has been going up since January, is up to $265,000. So yes, in the middle of a global pandemic, we had the biggest single month for home sales in the history of Regina. And because of that big month of sales, the number of homes on the market has continued to decline. In fact, going into July 2020, there's 1,150 homes on the market, which is 15% less than there were last year and 25% less than there were 2 years ago. There were more listings put on the market in June 2020 versus 2019. That's sellers coming back to the market, but it came nowhere close to the increase in sales, which was 50% higher in June 2020 versus June 2019. So that big month ate into that inventory. And as we get closer in Regina to 1,000 homes on the market, we shift from a buyer's market, which is what we are right now, we're shifting towards a seller's market as that inventory decreases. For the Regina market that's been seeing negative headlines and declining prices for a long time, this is some really positive news. And with how strong the Saskatchewan reopening has been, I expect this to continue for at least a couple more months. Okay, starting out west in Vancouver, where over 2,400 homes were sold. That's up over 17% from June 2019 and 65% from the previous month. Their listings are down 22% compared to June 2019, but up 57% from May 2020. Their home price index is still just over $1 million. That's up 3.5% from June 2019, but down 0.3% from the month before. Now, Vancouver is often perceived as a heavily foreign buyer dependent market. So we're going to see over the next few months how dependent Vancouver is on foreign buyers. Okay, moving on to Calgary, where sales in June 2020 were within 1.5% of June 2019. That's just over 1,700 homes were sold. Their listings are up 6% compared to June 2019, but the total number of houses listed so far in 2020 is down 20% for the year. And they're down to as low as about 4 months inventory, which is good news for Calgary. They got about 6,200 active listings right now, and their home price index is $411,000. That's down about 2.8% from last year, but unchanged from the previous month. Detached and attached sales are really strong in Calgary, where apartment style condominiums have been a little bit weaker. Saskatoon, much like Regina, saw a strong month with a 37% increase in sales, 515 homes. Listings are up 5% compared to June 2019, but they're down 12% for the year. There's about 1,500 active listings starting in July. Their home price index, also up much like Regina, they're up 3 consecutive months in a row, is at $291,700. Continuing on out east, where Winnipeg has quietly had themselves a fairly strong year. Sales are up 24% year over year, where they had about 1,900 homes sold. The number of new listings was up 0.4% year over year, with about 4,600 active listings going into July. The benchmark price has been on the rise since January. They're up about 8% from June of last year to $328,000. Heading out to Canada's largest real estate market in Toronto, where sales had almost matched where they were in June 2019. They're down about 1.4% in June 2020. They had about 700 homes that were sold. Their listings are up 2.1% compared to last year. They've got about 1,400 active listings right now, but their benchmark price continues to increase. They're up 9.4% year over year at $870,000, and that's up 1% from May 2020. It's going to sound like a broken record in Montreal, but prices are up again. Their average price is up 13% year over year, sitting around $580,000. Sales are up 1%, where they sold just over 1,600 homes in the month, and sellers have returned to the market. The listings are up a staggering 54%. This is the largest increase of any real estate market in Canada for a single month. The number of available properties is still well below 2019 levels, though. There's about 6,300 active listings. Montreal's market continues to be constrained by limited supply and strong demand, which is continuing to push prices up. Okay, let's finish things off in the East Coast. In Halifax, where sales were up 4% in June 2019 and sold just over 700 homes. The Halifax market continues to be constrained by limited supply. They were down 42% versus June 2019. They have just over 1,000 active listings on the market right now. Their average price is up 7.5% year over year, sitting just slightly over $330,000. That constrained supply in Halifax continues to drive prices up, even compared to 2019, which was a very strong year for sales and a low year for active listings. 2020 is showing even declined number of listings on the market and increased sales. That's going to continue to push prices up in Halifax. Did I miss a city that you wanted covered? Go ahead, let me know in the comments below what city I missed that you'd like me to see to cover in a future episode of Bald Prairie Real Estate. And if you go ahead and hit subscribe, you won't miss when I have that episode that covers that city for you. So why is it though that buyers have come back with such strong confidence in the market? Why are sales increasing and prices staying flat, or in some cases increasing? Aren't we due for a big crash? And if so, when is that going to happen? Well, let's go through what's causing sales to increase right now. When the real estate market hit pause in March and April, that's the very beginning of what is typically going to be a strong spring market in Canada. And going into 2020, many real estate markets in Canada were poised to have very big sales numbers. Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver come to mind particularly. They were expecting really strong sales numbers. When that got put on pause, all those buyers sat on the sidelines. As the economy started to reopen, and with those low interest rates, that's got buyers very excited to buy. So instead of buying in March and April, they've now bought in May, June, and this will probably continue on into July. So that spring market just got pushed back a couple of months. Why have prices stayed where they are and in some cases increased? Simple supply and demand. Buyers came back to the market much faster. In every Canadian real estate market that I've looked at data, even though their listings are up, the sales are up by even bigger numbers. So supply has continued to stay where it is, or in some cases, it's lower than it has been, which has kept prices where they're at or pushed them up. But what happens when CERB payments run out and the mortgage deferrals are up? Aren't all these people going to have their houses foreclosed on because they can't catch up on their payments? Well, there is a likelihood that that happens, but that process is going to take a number of months. It's not going to happen in September, October, where all of a sudden those payments have ended and deferrals are up and places are just going to crash in value. That's because the foreclosure process in Canada takes a fairly significant amount of time. From when you stop paying your payments to when your house gets foreclosed on, it's going to be about 12 months. So in September, October, when those deferrals run out and CERB payments end and people can't make their payments, there's probably a year drag time before those foreclosure sales actually happen. And then the bank can't just fire sale and get rid of these houses. They can't blow them out. They actually have to go to the courts and prove that they have tried to obtain the highest possible price before they can even start doing price reductions. So foreclosure homes don't just start at bargain basement prices. They'll actually start at what deemed to be fair market value, and then they'll start to decrease them if they can't get the property sold. So if you're wanting and waiting for prices to decline before you buy, this isn't going to happen likely in September and October. It's going to be a number of months later before you see the full effects of those CERB payments and mortgage deferrals ending. It's not going to happen overnight. The the real estate industry in Canada is a slow-moving one. It's going to take a number of months before you see that happen. But you know what you don't have to wait for? Is my playlist all dedicated to first-time homebuyers, and that's right here. So if you're a first-time homebuyer and you got questions about buying a house, even if you're waiting for prices to decline, check this playlist out. It's gonna have all your questions answered, anything first-time homebuyer related. But you're not a first-time homebuyer, you just like really bad jokes and real estate education, go ahead, click this playlist right here. That's gonna take you to all of my real estate tips, tricks, and knowledge. I hope you found this helpful, guys. Thanks very much for watching.